Good afternoon. Thank you for joining our free online lesson. My name is Shaizan, and I am an application engineer system. Right. So for today's topic for this free online lesson, I would like to share with you about the Inventor iPart and model states. Right. So iPart and model states is basically tools in Inventors which allow you to create multiple versions of one part file. For example, if you have one part file and you would like to create multiple versions of it with recreating another new file, so for that case, you can create using the two methods, either the iParts or the model states. Right. So welcome. So thank you for joining our free online lesson. Right. So basically, there are two things: the iPart and the model states, which allow you to create multiple versions of the part files. The iParts you can control or create multiple version or multiple shape, multiple different shape using this iPart table over here. While the model state is basically the replacement for the level of details. So the previous version of the Inventor, such as 2021, 2020, and below, we have level of details. However, level of details are not available for the part files. It's only for the assembly files. But right now, for the newest features, the newest update for 2022 and 23, we are now provided with the model states, which allow us to even create multiple versions using the part files. So let me just share my Inventor. Let me just share my entire screen. Let's see which one. Right. So to create an iParts, what you can do is that you can go into the view over here. The manage over here. And over here, you have this layout, and then you have auto, which you can use to create an iPart over here. Now, on this 3D model, we also have these model states. Now, this one is especially useful if you're using the assembly, right? The previous version of the model state, which is called as model state, which is called as a level of detail, but right now has been replaced with model states, which is now also available to be used on the Inventor normal part file. So let's create the iPart first before we go into the model states. So to do that, first of all, I would like to create a parameter first, which I can control using the iPart. So iParts basically allow you to read back the parameters, allow to make some changes on the iPart table itself. So first of all, I'm going to create some user parameter first. I'm gonna give it as a gear diameters. So let's say the gear diameters I would like to be around 100. So I'm going to create a model of a basic gear. Right. So the next one I'm gonna give for the thickness of the gear, let's say around 20. And I'm going to make some hole for the gear. So for this case, this will be around so this one will be the unit type of UL for the quantity. So I forgot which this. Okay, so I believe yeah, okay. So unitless. So this one will be around 6 holes. And last one I would like to create for the teeth quantity. So this one also will be the unitless. So let's say the quantity would be around 40 or something. So done. So the first one can start to create my gear model. So I'm gonna start with creating the diameter of the gear. So that would be the one that I have created before. So I'm gonna put the gear diameter first. So that will be around hundreds. And go ahead and save. and I'm gonna give it a thickness. This. So we already have the gear diameter, so I'm gonna go and create the gear teeth of it. So for now, let's say I'm gonna start with creating the rectangles, and it will be, let's say, around 10 thicknesses. And I want my teeth to be measured from the point of, oops, let me just delete this one first. No, I want my teeth to be measured from the center point. That will be the actual size of the diameter, however, divided by 2. Right. So of course, this is my teeth, and I want it to be upward. So for this case, I'm gonna give it a bracket. It will be half of the diameter gear size, which will be plus 50. So let's say if I make some changes on my radius of these diameters, my teeth will not be synced inside. So for example, if I make some changes on the gear diameter from here, let's say I'm going to give around 20, so you can see my gear does not sink below. It's still 50 millimeters above the surface of this diameter. So let me just undo that. And finish. Right, so another things I might want to make sure this is the center. So this is not actually the center yet. So let me just input here to make it centers. So I believe I have input here plus 15s, maybe 15 is too much. Say, let me just say the gear, right? So the gear haven't changed yet. Just change back to 100. Finish sketch. All right, so hello and welcome. Now, just extrude my gear. And for my teeth, I may want to input some fillets with here and here as well. And I also want to input some chamfer on the teeth. Now I already have my gear and my teeth. So for this case, I would like to have a multiple teeth that which multiple quantity of teeth which I can control. So for this case, I already have teeth with the quantity of 14s. So what I can do is that I can just go to the patterns and create pattern for the teeth. Create some of this pattern over here, and this will be the rotation of the teeth, and the value here will be following the teeth. Sorry, this will be teeth. And lastly, I would like to make some other variations, such as, for example, I would like to input some hole. So the diameter of this will be half of gear, and there will be a circles. I think I'm just gonna go around 13. Right, so I have already input some of these items, which include the parameters one. Right, so basically this is the item that I would like to make, and I also would like to have a few variations, a few version of this. So for this case, we can use either model states or the iParts. So let me just make some tests first before we proceed. Let's say I would like to test the gear diameter. Let's say what happens if I put around 120. So the size is still the same, so it's still 50 millimeter above these gear diameter. So let me just do this. this one. So let me confirm. Right, so welcome. Now, to create the iParts, we can go into the Manage tabs, and the Author we can use to create an iPart. So you can see on a model state, we can still create model state. However, you cannot use model state and iPart concurrently. If I create another model states, so I have two versions of this, and you can see iPart cannot be created because we already have these model states. So again, similarly, if I create, let me just delete first, okay. Let me, if I were to create an iParts, and press OK, then you can see the model state will be disappear, meaning model state cannot be used if I use iPart. So, similarly. Right, so iPart table has been created. However, we only have one item over here. So let me just click again over here, or I can also right click on this table. But let me just show you right over here. On above, we have these parameters and also list of parameters that we input on the iPart over here, at the below. Okay. So for example, if my gear diameter, I don't want this to be shown over here, I can just remove this one, and you can see the gear will no longer be here and no longer be above here. So if I still want, I can just click and I can just add. Now, the parameter that you have created will be automatically shown over here. But if some other parameters such as D0 or D2, which you did not actually input automatically, so what you can do is that you can still do it manually by re-entering this item by just clicking on this arrow, and it will be appear from here, which you can control the value. But we don't need this. Let me just remove this one. And let's take a look on the iPart table below here. The first one, we already have one variation, which is the original size of this. So we have the member and also part number. We have the thickness, the holes, the teeth, and also the gear. Everything is on default. So let me just create another one. I can do that by creating this row. We'll create another copy of this similarly. We create another one, and then we have this three different versions of it. The first version, I'm gonna leave it default. The second version, let's say I'm gonna reduce the thickness of this, let's say around 10 millimeter thickness. And the hole, I want to increase some more hole. And let's say this one will be around 8 holes. And then it will be more teeth over here. I'm gonna give it around 18 teeth with a diameter of 120. And on the third one, I'm going to make it more thicker. So for this case, let's say I'm going to give around 30 with the hole only 3, and the teeth will be around, let's say, so this one, let's say around 10 on the teeth, and I'm going to reduce the value of this gear, say around 80. When I press OK, you can find on the table over here, if you drop down, we have several other variation, several other version of this. I click in the part 2, so you can see we have different size for this part. And I click part number 3, I have this different part. So I believe I have input this one, which is supposed to be, supposedly this one should be 3 quantities. So let me just check back on the table. The whole, okay, so for some reason, the whole does not update. Might be some error that I have made previously. But normally it should have updated the whole, and you should have a different variation of the whole from here. Now, that is the first thing that you can do. Now, if we take a look back on the table, we also have this member and also part number. You can also rename this one if you like to. Let's say I'm going to name this one as a gear -1, and this one will be gear -2, and this one will be gear -3. So let me start to fit this one. So maybe I need to add UL, which indicate as a quantity. So if I press OK, so we have a gear 1, gear 2, and also gear 3. So for some reason, it still does not update. So we just leave it like that. And some of the things that you can also do is that if you go into this table spreadsheet over here, and we can also input some other properties, such as the on the properties. Let's say if I want to input some materials, I can input materials from here by clicking next, and I have this material list that I can input. Let's say the first one will be created using the generate. The second one, I want this material to be gold. And the third one, this one, I would like to make this as a lead material. Now, since the hole for some reason does not work, I'm going to remove the hole from here. I press OK. Now, go into the gear number 2. So we have different materials. In gear number 3, have different materials as well. Another thing that you can do, you can also create and adjust the suppression. For example, let's say if I would like to have some different version which has the let's say the fillet. Let's say I would like to add some fillets on this item over here. So for this case, you can go ahead and add some fillet. So I'm gonna make here. Let's say I'm gonna increase some more, or let's say 3. So I have fillet from here. So gear number 2 does not have fillet. Oh, sorry, gear number 2 also have fillet. But what I would like to do over here, I would like to make another version which does not have fillet. So I can go and edit the table again. And if I go to the features, sorry, the suppression, and I can find the fillet command that I have included. So let's say I click over here and I can add, and then I have additional one which allow us to compute the fillet. Let's say on the lead, I don't want to have a fillet, so I can just type in suppress, and it will suppress the fillet. So if I press OK, so gear number 3 will not have a fillet. Gear number 2 will have a fillet. Gear number 1 also have fillet. Right, so many things that you can input on the table. Now, if you like to input some more, so you can go ahead and right click, insert the row. Another method is you can also right click and edit via spreadsheet. So another thing that I forgot to mention, in order to use the iPart, you need to have Inventor. You need to have the Microsoft Excel file installed, right? Because the iPart will be using the Excel file. All right. So you can click edit via spreadsheet, and it will open the Excel file, the Excel tables, which I can edit from here. Let's say if I would like to input some more version, say this one, I can just click and add 2 more. So gear number 2, gear number 4 and 5, part 2, 0, 4, 0, 5, and I have the thickness which I can control. So next one, I would like, let's say around 15 millimeters thickness, and again number 5 will be around, let's say 10 millimeters thickness, and I can control the teeth. Gear, let's say, and the gear number 4, I'd like to increase some more, let's say around 140, and the teeth will be around 20, let's say 22. And I also would like to change some of this material. Let's say the gear number 5, I would like to change it to glass. Right. So glass, in the glass, I would like this to be compute, which has the fillet command on. So when I press save, and I can close this one, and it will be updated right over here. You can now see we have additional gear number 4 and also gear number 5, which is created from glass and have this fillet compute. Right. Now, what happens if you like to import this into an assembly file? Right, so I already opened the assembly file. I can just go ahead and paste. So let me just save first. I believe I haven't saved this one yet. And I'm going to rename this one as a gear. And I can go to assembly. And I press the gear over here. And what you see over here, we have the key, the tree, and the tables, which you can select which variation that you would like to input. For example, on the key itself has so many things from here. So to make it more easier to see, what you can do is that you can go back to this the part file, the tables, and on the spreadsheet. From here, what you can do is that you can right click and selecting the key. Then you can select which key that you would like. So let's say for this case, I want this the goal to be the main one. So I'm going to select number 2. So it will be the part number. On the part number will be shown on the assembly. So let me just save and go back to the assembly. And I press this gear, and now we only have key for the part number. So I can drop down and select which part number that I would like. So let's say I want number 2, and then showing number 2. If I want to have difference, I select all value and say want this to be 03. It will show me the 03 part. Right, so I can press OK, and it will be input over here. Then you can also input multiple files. So I'm going to drop down, I'm going to input some more over here. Another one, say go here. Once done, you can just simply dismiss, and the item will be shown. Okay. Right. So multiple version, you can actually do it. You can actually save from here. Now, if you take a look on the gear, let me just share you on the location of this gear. Right. So I have this gear. Now, if you take a look on the gear, we have several other variation, which is created over here. Now, if you would like to automatically select all, so you can just select on the part file over here, select everything, and right click generate the file. And only then it will directly generate all of the files. If I open back the gear, so all of the file has been shown from. So that is basically for the iParts. Now we have the other one, which is the new one, which is what we call as a model states. So model states allow you to create multiple version of this item over here. So let me just. Right. So let's say I have this this model over here that I would like to create a few variations. Instead of using the iPart, I want to use these model states. Now, what I can do is that I can right click and I can just pick another copy, and then you can see we have another copy right over here. So let me just delete this one first. And on this iParts, I also have the iProperties created on the project. You can see some information that I have input over here. The part number, the stock number, and this descriptions numbers. This one can also be create multiple with multiple model states, which you can easily see the information on each model state. Now, let's say on this iProperties, I would like to have this part number, stock, and description shown on my view over here. So for that case, I can go to the annotate, and I can select generate notes, and I can input the notes right over here, which is the information that I have input. So I'm just going to grab from the properties, the iProperties. The first one will be the part number. Right, so I have included the part number. You can see the part number shown over here. Next one, I would like to have a stock number, and the last one will be the description shown. Let's see this description. Right, so we have several other description properties. Now this blade is 20 blade. If I go into the parameters, so I have this blade counts. Let's say if I'm let's say I would like to have 25 blade, you can just directly edit from here. Then this blade will be updated into 25 blade. So let me just change back to default, and let's start to create different variations. So we can do that by right click and select copy, and then we create another copy from here. So in order to change the name, you can just double click on the name from here. Then you can just type in the names and just let me just I'm gonna name this one as a turbine panel TI dash with 20 blades. I have the first one, which is the default one. I'm going to create a new one, another one, which have a 21 blades, just 21 blades. And for here, I'm going to edit on the parameter and make sure this one is 21 blades. But the information back is still as the previous information. So for that case, I can just go into the app properties and change on the project. The part number will be 463. The stock number will be 21, and the description will be 21 blades. Right. So I have multiple. So I already have two versions of this. If I want to create another one, I can just right click and create another copy, and we can just edit directly from here. However, if you would like to create many other copies, so if you would like to create one by one, so that will be time consuming. What you can do is that you can also edit it via spreadsheets, just like on the models, just like on the iPart, you can create edit from the Excel file, edit from here. And some of the items, the variation that you have input will be shown from here. So we have this primary and the version number 1 and the version number 2. And I want to create more versions. So just click over here and just drop down, let's say up until 21 blades. So we have blade count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 3, 5, and so on. So you can just save and close this one, and it will be updated right below over here. See, we have 21 blades, including the description has been changed as well. It's 26 blades. We have 26 blades over here, and the model itself has been edited with 26 blades. Some of the things that I would like to do is like, let's say if I would like to make some changes on one of the items, for example, on the first one, 10.1, I would like to have a, say if I like to have a the blade guard. So for this case, I can just go back to the chain model and do some changes from here. Just click like this one. And I have another one. See the distance here to here. Oops. Here that will be around 0.5 inches finish, and I can extrude this as a blade guard. Both sides, let's say 1.5. So I have this blade guard created over here. Now the 21 blade does not have a blade guard, but on the 20 blade has a blade guard. Now, for some reason, some issue. So let me just undo that one. Okay, so we have 21 blades. So you can create multiple versions from here. Now, if I click over here, this one still, let's say if I would like to make some more changes, that particular changes, let me just delete this one. That particular changes, I would like to apply to all of this. So if I would like to edit from here, the rest will be following as well. So what I can do is that you can see we have this pencil icon over here, which is indicate that this is currently editing. I can go on toggle the edit scope, and it will allow us to edit all of the version over here. So let's say if I make some changes, let's say put something here, and I'm going to extrude this one. Let's say I'm going to make some taper. Now you can see in number 2 also have that T23 also have this version that I created. If I want to turn that off, just simply click and it will only edit this version. Now, let's say if I would like to have a fillet now, so 21, I can add some fillets. Let's say I don't want 21, I want 20 with fillet, so I can just create another copy, which will be copying the turbine impeller to 21 plates. I can just rename this as fillet hole, say fillet, and I can even put some fillet right inside of it. So I have fillet. Okay, so let me just get this one. Let's say around only. So I have 20. This supposedly this one, but how I accidentally picked the 21. But never mind. Now we can also edit and allow to suppress and not suppress. If I go back and edit via spreadsheet, and then you should have this fillet 4, which is the first one is suppress, the second one is compute. I can just edit it from here, and it will allow us to create multiple versions of this. Now this one is fillet number 4. Let's say I'm gonna rename this one instead of fillet number 4. I'm going to rename this one as a fillet hole, so that I can clearly see the top of this. So it's just now changed into fillet hole. So the first one is suppress. The second one is compute. Now the 2022, I also want to create another copy, so I can just click and insert another copy from here. Then this will have, the first one will be compute, and the one, oops. So the second one should be compute. So this one will fillet. So I can just rename this one as a fillet. And then 2022, so I can just compute to turn that one on. So if I save, close, if I can go back over here, we have this one version, which 2022 without fillet and 2022 with fillet. Right, 22 with fillet. Right, so we can create multiple versions. So if I would like to input this one as well inside of the assembly, you can just place this one, open, and currently it's going to give me the current version of the impeller over here. Oops. The color version of the impeller over here, which is the active one. Now, if I take a look on the model state, I still have only one. So to do that, you can just go on this turbine blade, you can drop down, and then we have this model state directly, which you can also create and select directly from here. Right, so that is basically the different version of model state and also the iParts. The difference between the iPart and model state is that iPart will create multiple files like here. However, the model state will only create and store everything in one single part file. So depending on which your requirement, you can select which indication suitable for your needs. All right, so that is basically all that I would like to share with you guys. So thank you everyone for joining our free lessons. Right. And so thank you everyone. So have a nice day, and I hope I can see you guys again on our next webinar. So thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.